Hello students, this is my fourth video of the story of village Palampur. The contents of the video are: will the land sustain? How is land distributed between the farmers of Palampur? And who will provide the labor? Students, in my previous video I discussed with you the Green Revolution. Also explained its positive and negative impacts on Indian economy. Though Green Revolution has many positive impacts on our economy, but it also has certain negative impacts, especially on soil fertility and groundwater level. Due to this, a question arises: will the land sustain? Now, see, the land is a natural factor. According to the scientific reports, with modern farming methods, resources are overused. Chemical fertilizers provide minerals which dissolves in water and immediately available to plants. But these may not be retained in the soil for long. They may escape from the soil and pollute groundwater, rivers and lakes. Chemical fertilizers can also kill bacteria and other microorganisms in the soil. Moreover, continuous use of groundwater for irrigation has reduced the water level in many areas. Environmental resources like soil fertility and groundwater, once destroyed, are difficult to restore. So, for future development, we need to take care of our environment and our resources. Now, I am going to discuss with you that how is land distributed between the farmers of Palampur. Land is important for any kind of farming, but unfortunately, not all the people who are engaged in agriculture have sufficient land in Palampur. In this village, out of the total 450 families, about one third, that is 150 families, are landless. Most of them are Dalit and very poor. Other 240 families cultivate small plot of land which is less than 2 hectare in size. It is very difficult to earn sufficient income from small plots of land, so they earn very less income from their land holdings, which is not even sufficient for them to support their families. The story of Govind given in the textbook explains that how after Govind's death his land was divided among his three sons. Now, Govind's sons are not able to make a good living from those small plots. They have to look for additional work for additional income to support their families. In the picture, you can see the large number of small plots scattered around the village. These are cultivated by small farmers of village Palampur. The large size land in the picture belong to the remaining 60 families of medium and large farmers. Their land holdings are more than 2 hectares of land. A few of them have land holdings of more than 10 hectares. So, small farmers cannot increase their income by using modern farming methods because for modern farming methods, big land holding is required. So, they are using traditional methods for cultivation and earning less income, while income of medium and large farmers have increased by using modern techniques. With this diagram, you can make out that in village Palampur, there is an unequal distribution of land. Most of them have small land holdings while few families owns large pieces of land. In the diagram, you can compare the distribution of cultivated area and the number of farmers who owned that area. Blue area shows the cultivated area owned by poor farmers and yellow area shows the area owned by large farmers. 20% of the rich farmers owns 64% of the land of village Palampur. They are the owner of more than half of the agricultural land of village Palampur, while the other 80% owns only 36% of the agricultural land. On this basis, we can say that there is an unequal distribution of land in village Palampur. After land, labor is the next necessary factor for production. Now the question arises that who provides the labor? Small farmers cultivate their own land with the help of their families. They don't hire labor for agricultural work, but medium and large farmers hire laborers to cultivate their fields. These laborers are come either from landless families or the farmers having small land holdings who are not earning sufficient money or income from their small plots. So, on this basis, we can say that in village Palampur, there are three categories of people. One is of landless farmers, second is of small farmers, and third category is of large and medium farmers. So, it is large and medium farmers who hire labor, and normally the landless farmers and the farmers having small plot of land, they provide their services as farm laborers. Farm laborers do not have any right over the crops grown on the land. Instead, they are paid wages by the farmers for whom they work, which can be paid in cash or in kind. In kind means in the form of commodities like food grain or meals or vegetables, etc. Wages vary from region to region, crop to crop, or one farm activity to another farm activity like sowing, harvesting, etc. Farm laborers are employed on daily basis or for one particular farm activity like harvesting, sowing, etc. or for the whole year. Dala is a landless farm laborer who works on daily wages in Palampur. This means his job is irregular and he regularly look for some work. The minimum wages for a farm laborer set by the government is rupees 60 per day, but Dala gets only 35 to 40 rupees. There is a heavy competition for work among the farm laborers in Palampur because there are more families who either don't have land or they have small land holdings. Rich farmers who hire laborers or farm activities are less in the village. In other words, we can say that the supply of labor is more than its demand in Palampur. Therefore, poor farmers agree to work for lower wages. In picture, Dala complains about his situation to Ramkali, who is another farm laborer. That's all for today. Thank you so much.